Hello YouTube, DJC right here. Today's DC news. We've been very excited over the past few days because of the Superman trailer. Great to be a DC fan these days. We have so many speculations and theories that we can't even count them all. In this video, I'll discuss some of the things I missed in my last video. Let's get started. James Gunn started with a post saying, "Crypto, take us home," to introduce Superman teaser trailer.
Home. Take me home.
After a day later, he said, "Crypto really did take us home with over 250 million views and a million social posts. Superman is officially the most viewed and the most talked about trailer in the history of both DC and Warner Brothers. This is all because of you." The Superman trailer has become the 5th most viewed trailer of all time following Avengers Endgame. Well, Avengers Endgame was the ultimate and pretty much final project of the MCU. MCU put every effort into that Avengers Endgame. But Superman is the first project of the DCU. This is the beginning of DCU.
Next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy.
And they made 5th most view. This is incredible. There was a report claiming that Superman movie's budget was $363 million. However, James Gunn debunked it, saying, "No, God, no. I wish I had somewhere even close to that." And someone said, "Is that tax document that keeps getting shared fake?" I've had doubts about the considering most big budget movies really cap out around 250 million or so. But even that is huge number. I was thinking Superman budget was likely more around 150. James Gunn replied, "I don't know if it's fake or it's just some weird form an assistant in Cleveland office filled out putting random stuff in the blanks. I sent it to our accountants and financial producers when it first came out a year ago and no one knew what it was. I just can tell you it wasn't anyone on our team. My guess is around 200 million or less. Warner Brothers has no money." David Cornsweet talked about Superman's inspiration. James Gunn suggested I should read All-Star Superman, which I did. I drew a lot from that specifically for Clark. Mostly I drew inspiration from the other actors and from James Gunn. It was when I started working with Rachel that I got clear about who Clark and who Superman was, and especially for Superman, a hero is only as interesting or cool as the nemesis that they're up against. So standing eye to eye with Nicholas Hoult for the first time is where I started to get clear about who I am because I see so clearly who they are. James Gunn talks about fantasy aspects of Superman. This is an alternate history fantasy world where superheroes exist, but it's also incredibly grounded. Real people have real lives. There just happens to be metahumans there. Superman exists. He has friends who are other superheroes. He has people he doesn't get along as well with who are other superheroes. He's got a flying dog. He's got a giant fortress that springs from the ground. He fights giant monsters. He has a lot of things that we love from the Superman comics and mythology that we haven't been able to see as much of in film media and definitely haven't been able to see in a grounded way, which what I hope we created. James Gunn confirmed that the runtime of Superman is under 2.5 hours. That's pretty reasonable. Not too long, not too short. Perfect. And someone asked, there's a report saying that there's a problem with the VFX department. James Gunn said, "Not even a little bit. My VFX teams are killing it." Okay, there are a few things I missed in my last breakdown videos. Before I proceed, I should warn you that there's a spoiler for Creature Commandos episode 4. Please watch it before continuing with the rest of this video. Okay, you've been warned. First, there was a picture of Gorilla Grodd on the newspaper the security guard was holding. This is very important because there's a scene in Creature Commandos episode 4 where Gorilla Grodd is with Princess Elana conquering the world. These Pokélistan soldiers are similar to the ones fighting against Mr. Terrific. However, their colors are different. The soldiers fighting here have purple and green colors, similar to Lex Luthor's. Does this mean Lex and Gorilla Grodd are working together? This is just speculation. There's a theatrical version of the Superman trailer that seems to include additional scenes. One of them is a closer shot of Mr. Terrific, and another one shows Lex Luthor entering the Fortress of Solitude with Ultraman and the Engineer. It's likely they are the ones who destroyed the Fortress of Solitude and Calyx. I didn't mention, but Calyx looks fantastic. He even has a blue cape. 1 year ago today, the DCEU ended. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Thank you for watching. Peace.
To be totally honest, when I was writing, I was thinking of Rob. Like that was, it was, I was
Just
like,
popped into your head?
well,
kind of
because
thing?
it was a weird thing. You know, when I was writing, one of the things that helped me to find the tone was that I was listening to Nirvana and I was listening to Something in the Way and I was like, oh, I just started thinking about, okay, here's a guy who lost his parents and it's so fucked up his life that he can't cope. So this is all about a guy coping with something that he can never fix. So this guy's got tremendous control issues. And I just thought of, it made me think of like, you know, the children of Princess Diana, like the idea of losing, like the Waynes were big figures and then the idea of being this sort of like orphaned prince. And for some reason, thinking of, I don't know why, but that made a connection to Kurt Cobain for me. I thought about him. I thought about Gus Van Sant's Last Days and the idea of him in that kind of rotting manner. And I was like, oh, and I just thought, oh, there's kind of like this rock vibe to it. And then somewhere in there, someone told me to watch, I mean, I'd love Rob. My friend James did this movie, Lost City of Z, and Rob is in it with a beard. And when he showed me the cut of the movie, I was like, who the hell is that? Like, and he doesn't look like Rob at all. And I was like, that guy's amazing. He goes, that's Rob Pattinson. I was like, what? And so then somebody said to me, you should watch Good Time. And when I watched Good Time, I was like, I think that's the only person I could imagine as this Batman.
Wow.
And I was literally saying to Dylan, I was saying, you know, what if he doesn't want to do it because I don't think that I know what it is if it's not him. And I remember talking to the studio and all of that. And of course we went on a search and I was going to be open to everything. But that was one of those things where I just happened, and it was one of those things too that was weirdly fated because then it turned out that he was, which I had no idea, obsessed with Batman and kind of tracking us.
But that's the thing, you're tapping into something.
Yeah, there's
that's
a
that
weird
creative thing.
collective consciousness, weird thing out there. And so somehow it was like we were looking for each other.